Hello everyone and welcome back once again to my channel. After quite a while of anxiously waiting, the Aerosoft/Digital Aviation CRJ has finally been released for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, both on the website of Aerosoft and the marketplace of Flight Sim itself. And it is priced at €50, which is, I would say, approximately $45 or maybe $55, I'm not really sure. But it's not really that expensive in my opinion. So back in the day when I still used to play FSX, the CRJ was one of my favorite airliners to fly since it came with the sim by default. And back then I didn't use any add-ons yet. If I remember correctly, the CRJ was also the very first airliner I tried to land in FSX, and that's obviously a very special moment for me. Later when I used X-Plane 11, there was also a CRJ for that sim, the J. Roland CRJ 200, but for some reason it would never work for me and the avionics would constantly freeze in the middle of a flight, which basically rendered the whole aircraft useless, so at that moment the CRJ became a bit less popular for me. But that didn't stop me from getting excited when I heard a CRJ 700 was coming to a Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that it was going to be the first third-party airliner as well. I was able to get my hands on it the same day it was released, so I could make a video on it as soon as possible for you guys. So here we are. Because it's an airliner, it is much more complex than your average GA aircraft, so in this video I'm going to show you guys how to get this aircraft from a cold and dark state to ready for taxi in just around 10 minutes, I hope. Very quickly before we start, be sure to do a touch and go on that big red subscribe button along with the bell icon so you never miss out on any new content. If you think tutorials just like this one are very helpful, don't forget to leave a like, and if something is still unclear after watching this video or you just want to ask me a question, you are more than welcome to leave them in the comment section below. Now without further ado, grab a pencil and paper and be sure to take notes during the video. Let's jump into the cockpit. Here we are inside the cockpit of the beautiful CRJ 700. It looks absolutely stunning in my opinion. So let's just imagine that our imaginary co-pilot is now doing the walk around for us and that we've already done all of the safety checks and all of those things, so we can skip ahead to all of the important stuff. So the first thing that we want to do obviously is power the aircraft. As you can see, it's still in a cold and dark state, so we're going to change that by going to the upper left corner and we're going to press the battery switch. That was pretty loud. So as you just heard, the aircraft gave us some alarm bells. We can cancel these two warnings there. If you want to use ground power, you can do that by pressing this AC button. Normally when the ground power unit is connected, it will show a veil, a green avail light. But we're just gonna immediately start the APU once we get to that panel. So we're gonna use the flows in this aircraft and we're gonna go down. All of the gens can stay in the auto position where they are. All of the transfer thingies can stay where they are as well. You can test the fire systems if you want to. They appear to be working just fine. So the hydraulic buttons can stay where they are. Navigation light can go on. The fuel pumps can stay off for now. Bleed air can stay in the normal position. The isolation valve can go open. Bleed source both engines and bleed valves auto. Then we are here at the APU panel. We can press the power/fuel button. And if we go down here, you should see a APU SOV open, which means we can now press the start button. And if we go down here, you will see that the EGT and RPM will start to rise, which means the APU is starting up. And if we go outside, you can also hear the APU. And the sounds in this aircraft are very nice as well, so that's very nice. So while that's doing its thing, we can continue with our flows. The hydraulic pumps can go to the auto position. At least I believe that's the right position. So up here on the right, we can set the landing elevation, which you will see here. So yeah, I haven't really figured out how to use the pop-up screen, so we're just gonna leave the landing elevation as it is. But if you want to change it yourself, you can do it with this button. The manual rate here has to be all the way to the left. Everything else can stay where it is. The bleeds can go to auto. Everything else can stay where it is as well. Then the window heats and windshield heats should go to the low position, and the probes can stay off for now. And also the lights for the cockpit can stay where they are right now, since it's daylight outside. And no smoking sign and seatbelt sign can go on as well, and we can arm the emergency exit lights. That's all for the overhead panel. Then we are going to go down here, and we're going to set the IRS to nav. Then we are going to go down here. You can set the lights in the cockpit if you want to. The nose wheel steering should be in the off position now. You can, if you press the yoke, you can lower it a little bit, so it's easier to manipulate all of these panels. So we can set the barometric pressure. So with this button right here, let's just assume it's 1013 millibars. And you can also change your nav source to FMS1 by using this button, and you can do all sorts of things with the navigation display with all of these switches. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video, but once I start to do full flight videos with this thing, it will become much more clear what all of these buttons do. So we are going to continue this way. You can check the stall system with this button right here. There we go, the stick shaker. You can put the cover back on now. Then we are going to go down here. The anti-skid can stay in the arm position. You can test the overheat systems with these two buttons. All of these buttons can stay where they are, as well as these ones. The thrust reversers can be armed. Speed brakes can stay where they are for now. Then down here, we'll start with the left panel again. We can engage the stabilizer trim and also the mag trim. Then in the middle, these buttons are used for manipulating the multifunction displays right here. So if you wanted to, we can check the electrics page. As you can see, the APU is now powering all of these systems. Then down here we can engage the yaw damper as well. And normally there shouldn't be any message saying that the yaw damper, isn't engaged. So if you forgot to press this button, a ECAS message would pop up saying that you forgot. So continuing down here, everything can pretty much stay where it is. You shouldn't touch any of these things in normal conditions. So what you can then do is you can go down to the FMC, go to position init, enter your airport. So for those of you who are curious, we are parked at my home airport in Antwerp, which has an ICAO code of Echo Bravo Alpha Whiskey. You can take these coordinates and put them in this little box right here. And I've set the IRS alignment time to instant right now, but I might change that in the future. But yeah, now you can see the displays are already aligned. So what you can then do is you can fill in your flight plan. Let's just suppose we are flying from my home airport in Antwerp to Brussels Airport, which is Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo. And you can put in your flight number and your alternate and all of that stuff, but we're not gonna do that for this flight. The FMC will also be explained in another future video. So suppose we have set up all of the FMC information, and we've also set up our V-speed along with the autopilot panel. It is now time to start up our engine. So to do that, need to go up here, and you need to turn on the fuel pumps. Didn't want to do that. So beacon light can go on. And before we start our engines, we will make sure that all of the doors are closed.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the captain and crew,
It's also very nice that this aircraft has its own passenger announcement. That's a very nice detail. So now that the doors are closed, we can start our engines. So to do that, you just need to press the start button. Then we go down here and we watch for an N2 of 22%, at which we will add the fuel. So we'll go here for a second. There's 22%, so you can use this red switch and then put the thrust lever, sorry, in the idle position. It doesn't matter if it's slightly above the idle position, as long as it's not in a cutoff position, you should be fine. So as you can see, the N2 is rising, as well as the ITT and N1. And once that engine has started, we will do the same for the left engine. There we go, the first engine is started, so same for the left engine.
During an emergency, please remain in your seats with your get into the brace position, which is executed by placing your head between your knees with your hands over your head. We would also like to remind you that you should turn off all electronic devices. We thank you for paying attention during this brief presentation.
So there we go, we now have two good engines, so we can go back to the overhead panel, we can stop the APU. Packs are on, all of the air conditioning is set, the generators are set as well. The hydraulics are set, everything's where it's supposed to be. Nose wheel steering can go to the arm position as well. I have no idea what ADT2 stands for, but I think I'll figure that out soon enough. Don't think I've messed with anything here, so yeah, I don't really know what that's about. And we also have an ECAS message saying that the yaw damper is not working correctly, so we'll engage that once again. And now, as you can see, the yaw damper message has disappeared, so that's all good. And that's everything we need to do for now. So there we go, guys. That's going to be it for today. If you thought this video was helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on. Any questions or requests are more than welcome down in the comment section below. I will definitely make more videos about this aircraft in the future, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.